So glad that everybody's here to welcome and to honor the 43rd class of the Murray State Hall of Fame. Alfeldt, Becker, Brockman, Harris, Giustino, Pratt, Rowe, and Victor. That's our group for tonight, and we're very, very proud of them. So who gave the woo down here? Did you? Okay, I want a bunch of woos here tonight, okay? This is a party, okay? This is not some stuffed up, strict ceremony, okay? We're here to celebrate 8 individuals. And by now, you know all the stats. Most of you watched them, what they did. We got some great coaches here tonight that some of our people played for. We're going to talk. We got some teammates who are also going to tell you, don't worry, I don't need a mic. We got some teammates here who are going to tell you some stories about what these folks did. And it's just going to take us back to a time when they did great, great things in the blue and gold. I was thinking today, it's impossible to count how many times our class was featured on a video, on some kind of audio interview. Some of you didn't, well, most of you didn't have, we didn't have social media. I know Danny Alfeldt's the oldest of the class. He's over here. He's got a bunch of old teammates with him. We certainly, we didn't have cell phones back when Danny was inventing the game of baseball. But after tonight, we're going to have 196 members of the Murray State Hall of Fame. The first class was inducted in 1965, and the first woman inducted into our Murray State Hall of Fame, she's a great lady, and I talked to her not long ago, Carla Coffey, who was a track and field star for Coach Margaret Simmons, and she was inducted in 1981. The first Hall of Fame that I saw with my own 2 eyes is when my cousin Steve Colson was a baseball player, went into the Hall of Fame. That was in 1991. And this is just going to be another chapter in our collective story of Murray State athletics as we put this class in here tonight. So we're going to get going with our program here, and I'm going to bring up our athletics director, Nico Yantko. Nico, come on up. And while he's coming up, I want you to take a look outside at all the things that are happening at Murray State. It's just incredible. As you all know, in the class, you were in the Ohio Valley Conference. Well, we moved up a little bit, and we're in the Missouri Valley Conference right now. And tomorrow when you get to the basketball game, you're going to see something really special because we might be selling this place out tomorrow night. And the reason is our boss, Nico Yantko, athletics director at Murray State.
Thank you, Dave. I slipped Dave a 20 for saying those nice things. The compliments really go to our investors, our president, who I'll get to here in a second, and all of our athletes. We'll talk about that here in a second. But welcome. My name's Nico. I have the pleasure of serving as your athletics director. And tonight I have the privilege of celebrating this great evening with every one of you. And I'll tell you, I'm a little emotional tonight because I get to spend some time with some of my former teammates. So this is a fun night for me. Also lucky enough tonight, my wife Marnie is here with us. So Marnie, thank you for all you do. So it's a date night for mom and dad, okay? So we like that. But each year we set out to do a few things, right? And this is our core objectives every single year. And that's advance the brand of Murray State University, build a stronger Murray State community and region, compete for and win championships, and develop our student athletes with an experience that serves them from recruitment through retirement. And this past year, it was one for the record books, okay? And I think this class that we're celebrating this evening certainly helps propel that. This past year, we had 7 championships. One of them led our baseball team to the World Series, okay? Over $37 million raised since 2023. We had the National Baseball Coach of the Year, and today, just right as before I got here this evening, head coach Ryan Miller of our basketball program was listed as a nominee for the Joe B. Hall, which is the first year Head Coach of the Year award watch list. This is unprecedented for our institution, and these engagements and visibility continue to elevate everything we're doing as an institution, which starts with our president, Dr. Ron Patterson. And as we always say, we're just getting started. So today, before we get rolling here, I want to make sure I take a moment to thank everybody who made this evening possible. That's certainly Dave Winder, Racer Dave, as we all know, and I'll ask these folks to stand, and then there'll be a couple more groups I want to recognize this evening. Devin Gregory, Greg Fry, Ben Preston, Corey Gazy, Josh Bruner, Brock Rydecki, Corey Knight, Julia Menschke, Jacob Pennington, and Ella Compton. Now, cool thing about Ella, right? We're an institution of higher education, right? Ella's a student, and I'll be honest, she was the glue that made this entire evening come together. So, Ella, thank you for your hard work that went into this evening. To our Hall of Fame committee, I know I saw 3, so I'm going to ask each of you, please stand, because I want to make sure you get recognized, because tonight doesn't happen if you all don't believe in the folks that we're continuing to put forward. And I know that's certainly Neil Bradley, Lindy Suter, Bill Whitaker. Thank you guys very much. We have our head coaches in attendance this evening. Some of them you'll get to hear from here in a moment. That's head football coach Jody Wright, who's doing a phenomenal job. Head coach for track, head football coach Jody, that's right. He's hoping that portal closes here in about 6 hours, right? Head track coach Adam Kiesler. Adam, you here? Where you at? Adam, if you want to stand, thank you, Adam. Good job. Rifle coach Alan Lollar. Softball coach, come on. Softball coach Kerry Amundsen. And I know Coach Miller. Kara's back here. Coach Miller was here a moment ago, so thank you all. Good job. Growth is made possible by the players and the fans, okay, and certainly the coaches. And at this time, this is unique for me because I get to see some familiar faces. I'd love all of our former student athletes and coaches. Please take a moment and stand. Let's get you recognized for a moment as well, okay? That's 50% of the room right there, right? Hey, Hall of Famers, right? You know who helped make those things happen too. So I know that I can't wait for those stories and these speeches this evening. So again, hats off to all of you and thank you, right? Because without you and this group of legends we're recognizing tonight, excellence is not possible, okay? And for us, we're going to continue to live, right, in our vision, and that vision is excellence, right? And you guys have set the standard for that. It's our job to represent you all the right way every single day as we continue to put our plan and our race towards excellence forward, okay? And I promise you, the best is yet to come. So it's my pleasure and privilege to bring up the man who really is making everything possible on this campus. And I get the fortunate opportunity to work alongside and for the best president in the country, okay? And his name's Ron Patterson, and his wife, Jenny, is here this evening as well. So, inductees, congratulations. Hats off to you. Let's have a great evening. And Dr. Patterson, the floor is yours, sir.
So good evening and welcome. I, too, want to pay tribute to my wife, my First Lady. She's the best part of Team Patterson. Yes. She allows me to be president, and for that I'm truly honored and very grateful, so thank you. Welcome back home. How does it feel? Campus looks beautiful, doesn't it? Absolutely, absolutely. Go Racers. There's no better time to be a part of Murray State University and our athletics program. Right now, as you know and have heard from Nico, Yantko, and his wonderful and tremendous hardworking athletics team, they continue to lead us to new heights through, again, our shared vision of excellence as we continue to race towards excellence. Our standard is excellence. We have, as Racers, and due to large part to tonight's newly inducted class and Hall of Fame inductees, you set that standard and laid that foundation for today's success. The 2025 class, right? This is the 43rd class to be inducted into the Hall of Fame and brings a total, as Dave said earlier, 196 inductees. So you are, right, a part of an elite class and group of individuals. Your legacies are forever etched and enriched in our history. And so for that, we are forever grateful for you and for all the things that you're doing in your lives today. This record-setting group spanned athletic achievements from 1988 to 2019, and you've combined for several program records that still stand today. This group also features Olympians, All-Americans, All-Academic, All-Conference selections, and most importantly, champions. On behalf of everyone at Murray State University, we would like to again welcome and congratulate, right, Danny, Alexa, Casey, Marcus, Rachel, Tonia, Ivan, and Cuthbert into the Racer Athletic Hall of Fame. Please stand as we recognize you. Please stand. If I called your name, please stand. Absolutely. Thank you. Again, I'm very honored to serve as your president. Again, congratulations. Enjoy this evening. Make it a great day. Go Racers. Shoes up.
Okay, we're going to get going here with Danny Alfeldt. You probably noticed that we're going alphabetical order. So Danny is obviously the leadoff hitter tonight. Did everybody get that? Okay, all right. 1988 to 91, we were talking earlier. Why don't we have more pictures of Danny Alfeldt? And I try to tell the young kids these days, these guys down, these ladies, they play. We got 20 pictures of them when the game's over. And he's got one. Well, maybe two with a headshot thrown into the media guide from back in the day. Conference champion 1991. When Danny finished, he was Murray State's all-time leader in hits and doubles and at-bats. That says a lot for the guys that played for him. He out-hit them all by the time he was done. And his presenter tonight is also a Murray State Hall of Famer. You might know him as Woody from his days with the San Francisco Giants, as he was the winningest lefty in Giants history when he retired. Let's bring up Murray State Hall of Famer Kirk Rueter to introduce Danny Alfeldt.
Hello, everybody. It is great to be back. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you to all the administrators and people that put this on, because I don't think you realize how much, when we get to come back, alumni, that we appreciate it in such a fine event. So, again, I know Nico named all of you that helped, but from me, thank you, because this is a great event. So keep doing it. We enjoy coming back. And second of all, I would like to congratulate all the Hall of Fame inductees tonight. Obviously, you have made a very big mark on Murray State University. You should be very proud and enjoy tonight. It's a special night. And again, congratulations. Enjoy it with the family because you will go down after tonight. I don't think anybody will ever forget you when you're in the Hall of Fame. So congratulations. And I do have to say one more thing before I get to my guy. I would be remiss if I didn't. I don't think Coach Kirk is here tonight, but what the baseball team did last year to galvanize the community, the university, alumni, not just baseball guys. I think everybody knew what was going on to get Murray State to go to Omaha last year. So I know coaches like to look ahead, and that season's over, but I would be remiss if I didn't give him one more congratulations in his team. So. And now that I got that out of the way, I can go to my guy, Danny Alfeldt. I've never told him this story. So we both grew up in small towns in southern Illinois. And he was a year older than I was. And our high schools, so back in our day, we didn't really play all over like kids do now. And so I don't think I ever faced him. Or if I did, I hope I didn't have to, because I probably did not get him out. So, I didn't really know him, but one day I was a junior in high school, and my dad came home and said, "Hey, Danny Alfeldt, is going to Murray State. He just signed to go to Murray State. So kind of a light bulb went in my head. I'm like, oh, man, Murray State must be pretty good if Danny Alfeldt is going there, because all I heard about in high school was this kid from Marissa that could flat out hit a baseball. And so that kind of went in my mind. And so the next year I was fortunate enough, thanks to my Legion coach, Donnie Walker, who is an alumni of Murray State, and my roommate who I played with and came down here with, Shane Witzel, that I was fortunate enough to get to come to be on the same team as Danny Alfeldt. And I'll tell you what, when you're doing Hall of Fames and stuff and you're trying to see who's supposed to be in the Hall of Fame and what credentials go into being a Hall of Famer, this guy, before I get into his baseball stuff, when I met him the first time, I already had this vision in my head of how good he was going to be baseball-wise. But as good as he was in baseball, he's better as just a person and being a friend and being a teammate. This was a guy that was leading in the weight room, leading in academics, made sure he was doing his academics, would do anything to win a game if he had to give himself up. And so he was a Hall of Fame person for sure. So that's always big in my book. And now to get into his baseball, so I was excited because I knew I had 3 years to play with him on the same team, and he did not disappoint. I had some pretty big expectations to see how good this guy was as a hitter, and he, like I said, he did not disappoint. He exceeded everything, and for 3 years, when you go down and you leave any program, like Dave Winder said, and you're the all-time leader in at-bats, doubles, and hits, that pretty much tells anybody that you're a Hall of Famer at that university. And then to lead us to an OVC championship, I don't know how before the last one that there had been one, and I think the next one in baseball was just this past year. So his senior year led us to the OVC regular season championship. So I think he checked all the boxes to be a Hall of Famer at any university that you can throw out there. And I'll tell you, it was an honor to play with him, and it's even been a bigger honor to see him, as we've gotten older, and we all are getting older. And I think some of the numbers, and if you talk, we got a lot of his ex-teammates here tonight too. But when we get together and you talk about numbers, we know we're getting old because he retired as all those career leaders. Well, now we only got to play what did we play, 35 or 40 games maybe in a year. I guarantee you give Alf another 20 games a year, like they're playing 60 games now. He might have put some numbers up that some of the guys would not have touched as far as hitting goes. So sometimes you can always skew numbers to make it kind of whatever you want it to be. But when he left, like Dave said, there was nobody here that was a better hitter when he left after his 4 years. And so if you talk to anybody, I know his ex-teammates would tell you he's a Murray State Hall of Famer, no question. I know the pitchers that had to face him for 4 years would have said, no question, he's a Hall of Famer. And I know, Alf, that there's one guy that knows a few things about Hall of Fames, and I think he's probably in 5 or 6 Hall of Fames, maybe. And I know he's in this one. And I know he knows a thing about baseball, because when you say Murray State baseball, there's only one guy that usually comes to mind, and that's Coach Johnny Reagan. And, I know he's looking down tonight, Al, and he's smiling because he knows that Danny will now be where he's supposed to be and where he belongs, and that's in the Murray State Hall of Fame. So no further ado, I want to bring my guy up, the newest baseball member to the Murray State University Hall of Fame, Mr. Danny Alfeldt.
Don't get old, you'll need glasses. So anyway, let me get this. So I can make sure I can get through. Kirk, thank you so much for that introduction. Very much appreciated. I guess I'll just start with, I don't know how this night can start off any better for me, having Kirk introduce me. I mean, obviously he's a good friend. we were teammates. He's a Murray State Hall of Famer. And, he had a 13-year Major League career. So no better person to get me started than Kirk. What I want to do real quick is just share a few words about Kirk and how much we enjoyed playing with this guy. He was one of the most determined guys, fiercest competitors on the field. He was happy when we won, but I think he was more upset if he lost. He had that kind of determination. He was great to play behind. He worked fast, had a sub-2 ERA, so we knew if we could score 2 or 3 runs, we were going to come away with the win that night. Just couldn't ask for a better pitcher to play behind. So thank you, Kirk. Give it up for Kirk one more time. Thanks, buddy. First, I'll congratulate my fellow inductees. Well done. Congratulations on all your achievements. What's even more impressive to me is I'm glad you guys had color photos. Because apparently we were challenged with that back in my time. So, seriously though, for me, growing up to play Division I baseball was always a goal. And being recognized tonight for something that means so much to me is incredibly humbling. So I'm truly honored and grateful to be inducted in the Hall of Fame this evening. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee, athletic department, Nico, Taylor, and of course our very own racer, thoroughbred, Dave Winder. He was the group before me, so we never actually took the field together, but he's leading up this Hall of Fame charge. Dr. Patterson, thank you for being here tonight. I hear and see so many good things, and it's very much appreciated for your support of Murray State Athletics. Thank you. I also want to give a special shout out to Coach Skarka and the 2025 Racer baseball team. So Coach is out of town, but he messaged me at 6:30 this morning, told me congratulations, and I thought that was just so special for him to reach out to me. I feel very fortunate that I'm joining the Hall of Fame class in 2025, and that's the same year that the Murray State team went on their magical Hall of Fame run. Going to Omaha always was a bucket list item for me. I can't imagine a better opportunity to see your alma mater right there in Omaha. So congratulations, Coach, and the 2025 Racer baseball team. All right, to my coaches, thank you for your leadership, your guidance, and your belief in me. Sure, you taught us the fundamentals of college baseball, but more importantly, you taught us to be good individuals, to compete the right way, and I'm so grateful for that. I was fortunate to have played with some great coaches here at Murray. Coach Worth, Hall of Famer himself, here tonight. Coach Tiki. Grad coaches Doss, Connell, P.J. Wessel. And, of course, the legendary Coach Reagan. Not sure where I might have ended up without having met Coach. He was a true leader of men, and he treated us as such. Coach always carried himself in that seemingly calm demeanor. You guys know Coach. He had unwavering confidence and his belief in us as players to get the job done. Credentials, obviously 776 career wins and 11 conference championships. He's legendary. So I want to thank Coach for taking that chance on this small town kid from Southern Illinois. But I didn't make it easy for him, and Coach Worth knows this as well. First game they came to watch me play, I didn't play very well. Played like crap. Might have struck out, made an error, I don't know. But we talked after the game, and they met my parents. And thankfully, our values aligned. What I mean by that, the values my parents had instilled in me aligned with the type of players they were recruiting at Murray State. So they agreed to come back and watch another game. I believe it was later in the summer. And that went much better. I hit the ball hard, maybe had a couple hits. And shortly thereafter, Coach Reagan offered me a scholarship, and that was that. I was sold on Murray. So I stand up here tonight because of the things Coach Reagan taught and instilled in me, both as a player and a person. Hard work, discipline, accountability, all as a means to get the most out of my ability. So I want to thank all my coaches again for helping me along this journey. To my teammates, I'm honored to see some of you guys here tonight. Thank you. Baseball is very much a team sport. None of this would have been possible without the people around me. I want to thank you for pushing me to be the best I could be, pushing me through those long practices, countless hours, hitting, fielding. You know the drills. We spent a lot of time in the hitting cages. I remember some long bus rides, a lot of euchre playing, some tough losses, but some unforgettable wins. So I want to give a shout out first to my freshman family. You know who you are. My sweet mates, Bobby Schoen, Willie Wilder, Patrick Vise, all three here tonight. You guys made me feel right at home. You were family. I couldn't imagine starting college with any better group of guys. So thank you. I don't want to forget my workout teammates, Danny Mack, Jeff Brown, and the late Ricky Chisholm. You guys were the hardest working guys I know, and you really pushed me all the time. So I appreciate that. So I'll go back to my most memorable game. It was probably the 91 conference championship winner against Middle Tennessee. So this was a winner-take-all, last game of the season. If we win the conference. If they win the conference. It was a battle. The score was tied 3-3 going into the bottom of the 10th inning. And I was leading off. So fortunately, I was able to get a hit, and we had sacrificed, and somewhat of a botch play by middle. The field was a little wet. The guy slipped on the turf. The next thing I know, I'm sliding across home plate with the winning run. Picture in the paper next day, Shane Witzel's right there on deck, telling me to get down and slide. I'm sliding. The catcher's catching the ball. Came across with a winning run. I just remember jumping up, high-fiving, hugging everybody. It was quite a celebration. And we hadn't won, Kirk mentioned it, we hadn't won the conference in '79, and we haven't won it since until this year. So it's obviously not an easy task. But just know any success I enjoyed as a player was because of the team around me. The memories we made will stay with me forever. What I continue to enjoy the most with my teammates are the friendships. I consider each of you guys a friend. And I look forward to catching up more this weekend. All right. I'm getting close. Stay with me. All right, to my family, I want to thank you for the unwavering support and sacrifices you made over the years. Mom and Dad, I'll start there. Growing up, I remember countless hours hauling me around to all my games and practices. A thankless job for sure. I guess you don't really fully understand that until you have kids of your own and you recognize what kind of sacrifice that is. It's really eye-opening. And my parents, they rarely missed a game. Even during college, they made every effort to get to those conference road trips. I mean, it's 4 or 7 hours. You're staying in a hotel. It was an unbelievable commitment that I really appreciated. And that doesn't even begin to cover the countless hours my dad practiced with me. Growing up, we lived across from the high school, so we had pretty well open access to about 4 different fields, the hitting cages, all at our disposal. I just remember pretty much every evening after dinner, off to the fields we went for an hour or two until it got dark. That's just what we did. We played practice ball. I guess it really wasn't that hard when you think about it because, like Dave said, we didn't have all the technology. No phones. Heck, we only had 4 channels on our TV. They were in color. But what else were we going to do? So I want to thank you, Dad. You shaped me into this ball player that I would become. You earned this honor right alongside me tonight. Unfortunately, he's not here. He's 90 now and doesn't travel that well. So we'll celebrate soon, Dad. And I know Mom is smiling down from heaven, smiling like she always did. No matter the outcome of any game, whether a good game or not, she was there with a smile on. Always my biggest fan. All right. All right, to my brother. Yeah, this one's not quite so easy. But I got to thank him for making me a stronger competitor and a battler. And what I mean by that, so Jim and I are about a year apart. I'm younger, he's older. So I'm always trying to keep up with him growing up, do what he's doing. I guess he tolerated it some, but I'm sure I was a real pain in the butt. I'm sure. I just remember when we were younger, whether we're in the driveway playing basketball or we were out in our makeshift ball field in the backyard, well, generally we would play until somebody went in the house crying. And that's usually me. I'll be honest. Might be an hour, might be 5 minutes. That was a tough call. But I just remember Mom, she pretty much said, yeah, you're all right. Get back out there and play. She didn't want us in the house anyway. So, and then as we got older, I just hated facing him in high school, into practices and things. And Jim pitched in college, so he had a good live arm. Well, let's just say in high school, he was mastering his craft a little bit. So sometimes pitchers would come inside, he'd be working on his curveball, maybe bouncing it in, hitting me in the shin. I just remember some of those rib shots hurt. So, anyway, I want to thank you, one, for not taking my head off, but more importantly, giving me that competitive spirit and drive. I'll never forget it. Thank you. All right. To my wife and kids. Well, since I met Laura after college, so their glimpse into my baseball life is only from the stories that I tell or my college buddies recant to them. So I got to thank you for tolerating those stories from the good old days. Well, I tried to keep the embellishment to a minimum. I make no promises for what these guys are going to tell you. So you consider yourself warned. And also thank you for the gracious support and encouragement around the occasional alumni trip. Obviously, we went to Durham, Omaha, and our annual golf trip. Maybe you were just trying to get me out of the house, but I appreciate the support. I give a special shout out to my friend, teammate, social director, organizer Jeff Moore. And if you guys are looking to get into the golf tournament, see him. He'll get you set up. So I'm truly blessed to have an incredible family, and I love all of you. All right, now I'm really almost done. Last page. Okay, so this racer journey began for me 37 years ago when this starry-eyed, somewhat naive kid made the jump from high school baseball to Division I college baseball. And it was a jump. I just remember thinking how much bigger, stronger these players are, and it's not going to be an easy task. But I was fortunate. I was able to work my way in the lineup that first year, playing in left field. Mind you, only having played in the infield in high school, so it was an adjustment. But I was fortunate to stay healthy during pretty much all 4 years of college. So as a 300-plus hitter, I was able to accumulate a good number of hits and doubles, both all-time career highs when I graduated. Didn't set out to do that, but it's the accumulation of that time. I finished first team all-conference, was voted MVP of our 91 conference championship team, and voted the MSU Male Scholar Athlete Award for that year. So I'm very proud of those honors. Finally, I'll leave with this. I'm extremely humbled and proud to be included with so many outstanding athletes here tonight and in the Hall of Fame. This honor represents not just achievements on the field for me, but for the people and the lifelong relationships that continue to shape my life today. So, let's say remember this. Always dream big, set your goals high, work your butt off, and who knows what great things you can achieve. You need to look no further than up here. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Congratulations to Danny Alfeldt. So they're going to go on with the pictures there, and we're going to move on to our next inductee, Alexa Becker. I've got a note here, Alexa, and I came up with this myself. Instant starter as soon as she walked on the field. Instant starter for the Racers in spring 2012. Some of her teammates are here. She was the real deal right off the bat, wasn't she? Let's hear it for Alexa Becker. 3-time All-OVC. She was even better in the classroom. 2-time academic All-America. And she's got all these records still and all that. And one of her best teammates, CheyAnne, used to be Gasky, and now it's Ludovissie. She was a pitcher, and she's going to come up here and tell you about her good friend and teammate, Alexa Becker. Come on up. CheyAnne.
first, I just want to say congratulations to everybody that's being inducted tonight. For those of you that don't know me, again, I'm CheyAnne Ludovissie. You did a great job pronouncing my name. I have the privilege and had the privilege of being Alexa, feels weird saying Alexa, Becker's college roommate and teammate at Murray State from 2011 to 2015. Now, being her teammate meant two things. One, you were never outworked. And two, you were never, ever safe, no matter where you hit the ball. Becker was an incredible shortstop, elite glove, cannon arm, clutch bat. But stats only tell you part of the story. What set her apart was her obsession with the game in the best way possible. She didn't just play softball. She studied it, respected it, and gave it everything she had every single day. There truly is nobody more dedicated to the game of softball than her. She was also a leader in the quiet but deadly sense. She didn't need to say much. She just showed up, worked harder than everybody else, and raised the standard without asking for credit. The kind of teammate that you're grateful for when things are hard, but slightly terrified of if you're competing against her. Which brings me to one of my favorite memories with Becker. One day at practice, after relentless begging, I finally convinced Coach K to let me hit front toss. Now, as a pitcher only, this is a big deal for me, okay? Confidence was high. The swing felt great. I finally connected with one, and I thought, yep, that one's out. I think I was told I flipped the bat, maybe? But then Bex, who apparently decided that she was also an All-American outfielder, came out of nowhere, ran the ball down, and robbed my home run. I mean, like, seriously, an ESPN top 10 play. Glove over the fence. And honestly, that sums her up perfectly. Fierce competitors, zero mercy, always making the play, even if it personally crushed your spirit. But what makes this honor so special is that Alexa didn't stop giving to the game when her play days ended. Today, she is director of Extreme Baseball and Softball Club, where she learned the game. Watching her pour into the next generation of athletes, shaping not just better players, but better people, has been incredible. Beyond the field, she's an amazing wife, an incredible mom, and somebody who leads with integrity in every role she takes on. The same dedication we saw between the lines is exactly how she shows up in life and always has. Alexa, again, that feels weird. Your impact goes far beyond wins, stats, and trophies, although those were pretty spectacular. You represent what it means to love the game and give back to it fully. Murray State softball is better because of you. So many athletes are better because of you. And I personally am better for having shared the field, a dorm room, and a whole lot of memories with you. So it's truly an honor to stand here tonight and celebrate you. Please join me in congratulating my teammate, my friend, and one of the fiercest competitors I know, Alexa Becker-Potts, on her induction into the Murray State Hall of Fame.
I brought this one out of the archives. This is our mental conditioning binder from when I played, and I still have some of the old sessions in here. So I thought that was the perfect entry. I was told like 30 minutes ago that I need to try to keep it to 5 to 8 minutes. And I said, I'm sorry, but I don't know that I'm going to hit the mark on that. But thank you, Shy. That was incredibly nice. I am honored and humbled to represent Murray State softball and receive this prestigious honor. My home church just started a sermon series called Hall of Flaw. What a timely, humble reminder that we never achieve anything alone, and we certainly don't do it without imperfection. Like the Hall of Flaw, God uses our weakest moments to shape us into his most proud moments. This award may celebrate personal achievement on the field, but I lay my head down at night most thankful for the person I became during my time as a Murray State racer. It all started at home with Mom and Dad. They raised me to value hard work, countless backyard practices, and walks to the local field. The competitive juices got flowing early in our house. I'll never forget the T-ball challenge to catch 10 in a row. Pretty simple, yet so hard, but you always start somewhere. And now I'm doing that exact thing with my kindergarten son. Mom and Dad raised me to be honest, accountable, and lead by example. I take these lessons with me now as a wife, mom, and professional. A reminder to lead your home in the way you want them to lead their future home. This morning, my 1.5-year-old called for Mama from her crib. I couldn't help but think of the number of times I've called for Mom and Dad. They answer every single time. Thank you for loving me hard, supporting my dream to play collegiate softball, and laying the foundation for who I am today. I truly believe God gave us sports to teach life lessons and provide a platform for growth. I'll never forget the hard conversation my junior year at the lodge. Who wants to tell their parents they're being too hard on them and ask them to change their approach? I'm forever thankful for that conversation. That was extremely emotional, but it became the breakthrough we all needed. Let this be your nudge to have the hard conversation. Don't delay it. Don't avoid it. You need it more than you ever even know. Murray State fell in my lap by happenstance, but it became the start of an incredible 4 years that blessed me beyond imagination. In 2012, I encountered God, experienced His love, and surrendered my life to Jesus, a testament to the teammates who invited me to campus outreach events, prayer nights, church, Bible studies, and just to hang out, a reminder of the power of an invite. In 2013, I met my now husband, whom we share 2 beautiful kids with. Thanks to our next-door locker neighbors, the track and field team, where I met my college best friend and ultimately met her brother. A reminder to engage fully in the student-athlete experience. In 2014, I experienced breakthrough with my parents, a testament to Coach K for encouraging me to have the hard conversation, and to my parents for listening, even though I know it was hard to hear. A reminder to listen, to understand, not to respond. In 2015, I graduated as a transformed person, shaped by relationships and experiences that went far beyond the box score. The criteria for this award may be based on numbers, but I am thankful I was more than number during my time here. It began with coaches who believed in me and ended with coaches who loved me. They invested in us beyond just our performance on the field. They trusted us. They gave us freedom, and yes, sometimes ice cream. Innie for life. I enjoyed hearing all the stories from my outfield friends with Coach Gill. I've heard she has softened up in recent years, but no doubt she got the best out of us by holding us to a high standard. Beyond the box score, accountability is important to our personal growth. Coach K and Coach Gill are still exactly that in my phone, Coach. Grateful for your impact on me that inspired me to be a coach as well. Explaining this award to your kids who only know you as Mom is funny. Hudson said, "Good job being the best softball player, Mommy." What he doesn't know is how blessed I was to have the best teammates right by my side through it all. It started my very first weekend in town when I got pulled over heading back to our dorm room on a Saturday night. I don't drink, so it's sheer panic and confusion as I innocently drove right down the middle of North 16th Street, a side road here in town. As it turns out, small town Murray is in fact bigger than where I grew up. Saying something. Where driving down the middle of side roads was normal. They needed to paint the lines a little bit more. I couldn't see the lines. No ticket though, so we're good. What a first impression to make on your roommate, who was in the car with me. That was Shy. First weekend. To my home run robbery victim roommate CheyAnne, we were telling the same story. Obviously, it was memorable. I did rob that home run proudly in the moment until I realized what I did. All I could see was the lifetime opportunity to live out a competitor's dream. And I spent all my time in the infield, so I had to go after it. But not my brightest moment as a teammate. Thankfully, it only went up from there. Shy could not think of a better person to honor as my presenter. You were there from the start to the finish. We roomed together for 2 years. We were both homebodies and came from small towns. Shy embraced me for who I was and made Murray feel like home. From the infamous rain boot picture in our dorm room to the love for turkey sandwiches, Clark 113 was special. Just as special was playing behind you for 4 years. Beyond the box score, presence is a powerful thing. To my super senior friends, thank you for welcoming me with open arms my freshman year. G and Chelsea, your relationships were so special to me. Steph and Tori, you were never short of jokes, and you really got me out of my shell. Learned a lot. Kosmecki, your competitiveness was memorable, but never forget, I hope I don't regret this, never forget Duke blue over Kentucky blue. There was some competitive nights. To my faithful leader, Leslie, thank you for leading me to Christ and for your Christ-like influence. Thank you for showing me my identity is not in my sports performance. This gave me a peace that I never had while playing before. I will forever appreciate you leading with love and showing me God's love. Beyond the box score, we are loved so much by the God who created us, and his plan for our lives is greater than anything this world can give. To the best teammate I have ever played with, Mal Rich, thank you for putting the team's success above your own. You are the definition of a selfless team player. It was never about you, and that's what made you so special. Beyond the box score, a legacy worth remembering is rooted in being a great teammate, grateful for everything, entitled to nothing. To my double play pranking partner in crime, Shelby, I'm not sure if your softball game or pranking game was stronger, and that's no knock on her softball game. Nobody else made me sweat red like Shelby during one of her iconic April Fool's pranks. Real story. She always had something up her sleeve. Shelby was a competitor through and through. We shared many memorable moments turning double plays on the field, but it was so cool to witness her life change off the field. Beyond the box score, live passionately and strive for excellence in all that you do, no matter how big or small the task. To my crazy swinging versatile JT, I may not use you as my A swing demonstration, and she knows this, I've told her this, but you are my favorite B swing hitter and versatile defender. You went from no experience playing first base to a trustworthy first baseman that barely missed a pick. Beyond the box score, be flexible, adapt, and sacrifice your own desires for the betterment of the group. To my locker buddy Maggie, thank you for putting up with my lack of spatial awareness. We enjoyed many laughs in the locker room and on the field. I loved standing next to your sharp-tailing cannon that I was so glad I never had to receive. Beyond the box score, light up every room you enter. To my Blavey-wearing hitting partner Jocelyn, thank you for trusting me. You were an incredible teammate, and we shared many memorable hitting sessions together. After all, how could I forget when you wore black and navy religiously? Let's just say I earned my title as Blavey Police. Beyond the box score, listen, be coachable, and be teachable. To my favorite infield crew, we were always waiting on that next tailor-made double play ground ball from our drop curve buddy Mason. It was fun to play next to such competitors like you. Beyond the box score, enjoy and appreciate being in the presence of the people around you. I miss religiously watering the hardest field in the conference. Maybe shortstop a little bit more than the other positions. The no sleeves competition with the rebellious Midwest crew. The road trip ice cream treats. All the handshakes. Home-cooked team meals at the Futurals. Eating 6 cookies at Winslow and not gaining 10 pounds. Working out with my teammates and going to battle with them. And track workouts with Coach K. I still talk about how much faster I got because of these workouts. There are a few things I don't miss, like the early morning panic attacks because someone wasn't in the locker room on time for 6 a.m. weights. The shuttle runs on the turf with Coach Gill when Coach K was out of town recruiting. Or running polls after an alumni game because we had too many backwards Ks, which just so happened to be against our own pitcher, CheyAnne, because she was helping the alumni who couldn't finish the game. We don't do those games anymore. I was looking forward to what I thought was my last ever 6 a.m. workout until motherhood made me a morning person. Never say never, right? Murray will always be home to me. I even named our first cat Murray. I got engaged on this field. I come back for alumni events 11 years later, and I still get the same feeling when I pull into town. I love this place. I love the community. I love the culture of kindness. And let's be honest, I love a little Mexican at Los. That's right. Ultimately, it all circles back to family. To my parents, our relationship means the world to me. To see you take the lessons you learned from my sports journey and watch you be the best grandparents to Hudson and Jersey brings a tear to my eye. To my husband, you have always been there for me ever since I have known you. You have been the most encouraging supporter of my journey as a player, mom, and wife. You love me so well, even when I'm hard to love. To my kids, you are more than a game, you are more than a number, you are more than a performance. You are loved unconditionally every single day. This speech is a tribute to 2 high school influences who shape who I am today. My high school English teacher, Pam Zerlini, the hardest essay grader. What felt extremely tough in the moment turned out to be a blessing to me as I now enjoy writing so much. A great reminder to embrace a good challenge. My high school club coach, Brett Swip, the person who took me from the quietest kid on the field to the person who won't stop talking. Believe it or not, I never used to speak. I was the quiet, shy, reserved kid. I'm still an introvert at heart, but I learned leadership and communication because of Brett's influence. Beyond the box score, we all have the opportunity to influence people every day. Good or bad, it's a choice we make. Choose wisely. Let's pray. Thank you, Murray State, for impacting the lives of the people in this room. Thank you for the opportunities you continue to provide current and future racers. The future is bright. We pray that while the impact gets bigger, the mission stays the same. May this not be about us, but may it be about you, God. Thank you to the coaches in this room. May our celebration today be a reminder that you are appreciated. Thank you for your time, energy, and commitment to us as people and players. Always be grateful for the opportunity we have through the platform of sports to change the course of a person's life, to instill important life lessons, and to support kids as they transition into adulthood. Thank you to the family in this room. Your support is invaluable. We are grateful for your sacrifice, the time, the money, the long drives, the early mornings, the encouragement, the belief you never stopped giving. You laid the foundation of who we are today. Thank you for the blessings poured out onto the lives of the people in this room. For whatever you have in store for us next, may we place the reins fully in your hands. May we faithfully live life trusting and believing in the next step you have for us. In Jesus' name, amen. Just like we did as athletes, may we keep making adjustments, both big and small, that shape lives long after the game is over. The game ends, the impact doesn't. Thank you.
Alexa, we could tell you like to write. That was beautiful. Thank you for that. All right, so we're going to move on to our football portion here. And it just so happens that Casey and Marcus are alphabetical order there. We have put in tandems before. This is the 3rd time we put in a quarterback and one of their great receivers. The last one we did was, I think, 3 years ago, Mike Cherry and Reggie Swinton, who played for Houston Nutt. And it really does me a lot of good to look out and see all these former football racers here tonight to come back and support your guys. So we're going to first concentrate on Casey, and then Marcus is going to come up. Of course, Casey was a hometown kid and came up with maybe the second best Twitter handle I've ever heard. The first one was a guy here in Murray, Lance Allison. His Twitter was Fat Guy Can Try. I thought that was pretty good. But then there was Casey Brockman, who came up with the Real Wild Horse. And you still use that today, right? Oh, you changed it? Well, you had to be professional, I know. Well, I think you probably ought to go back to it. Josh McKeel is also a great racer. Coached him in high school at Callaway County High School. Josh, for years, helped us on our radio, and I hope again someday he'll be back on radio with us to call racer games. Josh was also a great player in his own right back in the day, and also a high academic guy too. And he is shaping our young people at Callaway County Schools right now as one of the leaders. Let's bring up Josh McKeel to tell you a little bit about Casey Brockman.
Good evening, everyone. I am extremely honored to be able to be here tonight to talk about one of my favorite human beings in the world, a young man that I had a front row seat, actually a sideline seat for his high school career, And then as Dave mentioned, I had the opportunity to have a seat next to Mr. Bradley for several times in the 7th floor of Roy Stewart Stadium to watch Wild Horse do his thing. And so I am honored to be here tonight. And again, we can look, you know his records. He ended, by the time he took off his shoulder pads for the last time, he held 33 Murray State football records. But I'm not here to talk, absolutely. But as remarkable as the record book is, the journey that young man took is even more remarkable. They've mentioned that he was a local kid. I remember back in the day when I played, I had a teammate, I would look over and Bo Guest was a favorite of Casey. And Casey would be there and he would be cheering loud for his racers. And I remember I was talking to Tab last night, his father, about if you're a racer, you remember one time several years ago, we were in the OVC championship in football and Tennessee State won on a blocked field goal and they tore down our goalpost. Crushed. But someone else was crushed that day. The person I'm introducing today, Casey Brockman. As a young fan, he stood there, and I think by seeing those things, and we'll talk a little bit more about how it seemed like every time he played TSU in his career, he showed out. Now, whether it had to do anything with the ripped down goalposts, I sure felt good about it. So I don't know if it did or not. But Casey came to the Murray State campus in 2009 not as a highly touted recruit, not as a scholarship athlete, but as a walk-on. Over the next 4 years, his efforts and those of his teammates transformed him and Murray State football. It transformed him from overlooked to nationally recognized, from hopeful hometown hero to one of the most prolific quarterbacks in FCS history, and from walk-on to wild horse. As I mentioned, I was blessed to know Casey, again, in a coach capacity. Ever since I can remember Casey, he was an avid sports fan. He was a true competitor. I was, again, honored to coach him. One thing I can speak from personal experience is his work ethic and his ability to find a way to win. There was often times when I was coaching in high school that I would make my way to our field house on a Sunday afternoon, prepare for the next week game, and Casey and I think some very reluctant teammates were there on the field throwing because Casey told them to be there. And by the time I left from preparation, Casey was still there because he's a worker. I used to say the phrase, winners win and players make plays. It sounds simple enough, but again, through my experiences, Casey's work ethic was unmatched. His knowledge of the game and his understanding, second to none. His presence, while humble, was unwavering. And his competitive drive, unmatched. And while I could tell you some stories from high school, we will move forward to following his high school career. He had opportunities at some schools to go, but Casey chose to commit to his hometown Racers. Was it the desire to play for his hometown team? Perhaps a chance to play with his brother Tyler? Or maybe a challenge to prove the naysayers wrong? Casey chose to be a Racer. Despite having his arm strengths questioned, having to walk on, removing his red shirt 4 games into his freshman year, or being assigned the number 24, what quarterback wears number 24? Casey did what Casey always does. He won. He won the confidence of his teammates and the respect of his coaches. He won the disdain of Racer opponents. And he won the love and support of Racer Nation. He won his place in the record books, and tonight he wins his place in the Murray State Athletic Hall of Fame. I called Coach Hatcher, who unfortunately could not be here tonight, and I said, tell me, when I say Casey Brockman, what do you say? What do you think? And he said, he called Casey, he said, he is the definition of a winner. He was a great teammate, he was fun to coach, and he loved Murray State. I had the opportunity to speak to a few teammates and said, tell me about Casey. Their remarks, not all shared here tonight. Casey was the ultimate teammate and the ultimate friend. He was a constant encourager, a better teammate than roommate. an ever-present positive voice, the hardest worker, and someone who always had our back. Tonight we induct Casey Brockman into the Murray State University Hall of Fame. We honor more than records and awards. We honor a walk-on who refused to stay a walk-on, a quarterback who elevated a program, and a racer whose legacy will inspire generations of student athletes to believe that with opportunity, preparation, and relentless determination, anything is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating and welcoming to the stage Murray State University Hall of Famer Casey Brockman.
All right, well, Coach, I'll give you that $100 here in a minute. I got two things. I added this to my speech this morning, but I don't know if anybody plays Wordle, that New York Times game, but
everybody plays Wordle.
Anybody? Did you play it today?
Yeah.
What was the word? Racer.
Right.
How fitting for today. Thought that was awesome. But and I know Danny, you shed some tears. I'm going to try to get through this speech without tearing up, but no promises. I read my first draft last week to my wife in the car, and 10 minutes later, we're both in the Home Depot parking lot crying. So if you've never cried while buying drywall, I tell you, it's riveting. So anyway, I'll get started. So there's only really one way to start this speech off. How about you, Racer fans? And football, more so than any sport, is a team sport. The player that typically gets the most praise, obviously, is the quarterback, but there's 10 other guys on the field that have to do a play or have to have a job to do every play. I always told myself if a day like today ever happens, I'd want as many people here as possible to celebrate with me. Guys flew in from all over the country. We got guys from Vegas, Houston, got a crew from Houston, New York. One guy even came all the way from Cadiz, Kentucky. And I hate to do this to you guys because Nico already kind of had everybody stand up, but all my former teammates, I'd love for you guys to stand up for a minute. I truly mean this. This honor is just as much yours as it is mine, so thank you guys for being here. I also want to thank Dave Winder and the Hall of Fame committee for nominating me and putting on this great event. Growing up in Murray, idolizing guys like Justin Fuente, Isaac Spencer, Reggie Swinton, D.T. Mays, Stuart Childress, and even a guy that's here tonight getting inducted, Cuthbert Victor. I never could imagine my name being mentioned in the same breath as these guys. Thank you to our athletics director, Nico Yantko. I want to share with you all what kind of person Nico is. So it's 2009. I'm a freshman. Nico's a senior. Nico and Jeff battled all throughout camp to be the starting quarterback, and both started a handful of games that season. And Coach McKeel kind of hit on it a second ago. With 3 games left, I was told that I was going to be the starting quarterback the rest of the season. I was shocked. You guys have heard the story already. I began as a 6th-string, jersey number 24. Never thought I was going to touch the field. Well, I've never asked Nico how he felt about that decision, and I don't want to start the speech off cussing, so I'm going to just use the word upset, just to keep it PG here. But I'm sure he probably doesn't remember this next part, but it's always stuck with me. I leave the stadium that Sunday night, and there's Nico standing on the stadium steps waiting for me. I didn't know if he was about to try to beat me up, what was going on, but I don't remember exactly what he said to me, but I'll always remember that he had words of encouragement for me. And he didn't have to take that time to talk to me in what was a difficult moment for him. So I'm always so appreciative of him and Jeff for how they both handled that situation. They could have made those final 3 weeks miserable for me and taken their frustrations out on me, but they didn't. So Nico, 17 years later, thank you for that. A few other folks that I need to recognize. I saw Matt Kelly in the back there. If you've been there we go. Everybody that's been here, I think 7 of the 8 have been here when Matt Kelly's been here. So you know how much Matt means to this university and each student athlete that's come through here. I was so glad that this lady was able to make it here tonight. Megan Short. Without her, none of us are graduating. So thank you to Megan. There are 2 other folks that on campus that I want to recognize that are no longer here with us tonight. Miss Inez Lyon, If anybody knows Miss Inez, she's the reason I don't fit in an XL shirt anymore. She worked in the cafeteria, loved all of us athletes, fed us good, fed me too good. Dr. Bob McGahee. Doc was a huge... Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Thank you. We need some riffraff back there. Doc was a huge part of this university, a huge part of this community, and one of my biggest supporters and fans. There's a lot of parts I'm probably going to get emotional. If I can get through that one, I might have a chance. So when they write a book about Murray State one day, he'll have one of the first chapters. So we miss him every day. Thank you to everyone that covered us and gave us attention before social media was around. John Brush, Neil Bradley, Tommy Dillard, Michael Dan, Ricky Martin, Jeff Bidwell, Dusty Luthie, John Wright, Lindy Suter, Will Aubrey, and the late Joey Fosco. To a few of the coaches who played a huge part in my development as a player, Buster Faulkner, Mitch Stewart, Sean Dawkins, Steve Adams, Kenny Parker. They're all a big reason why I'm standing up here today. And I'd love to talk more about each of these guys, but Dave's given us a strict time limit. I don't want him to cut the mic off, so we've got to move on. And I already saw Lindy. Where's Brandon Wicks at? There's Wicks in the back. So, hey, bar's still open. Food's still, if you need to get a drink or go to the bathroom, now's a chance. We can talk about Callaway County football for a second. So Coach McKeel, he introduced me tonight, obviously, so thank you, Coach, for being here. Dave got a great introduction about Coach. He's a racer, former Ludovissie tight end, and I was able to learn from somebody that knew that time commitment and the work that it took to be a great football player. Coach McKeel's first season as a head coach was my freshman year, so we got to experience some lows together, but we also got to experience some of the highest of highs Callaway football's ever seen. And I want to tell a quick story about my first start in high school, and this is where Lindy and Brandon, y'all might want to put some earphones in, but I was a junior. We were opening up the season at Murray High at Ty Holland Stadium. Going into that game, if my memory serves, we were a pro-style I-backfield team. At halftime, we were losing, hadn't done much on offense. So the second half, we 4-wide shotgun, throwing it around every play, and we went on to beat Murray on a last-minute touchdown and put that pro-style offense obviously on the shelf. But the program really turned a corner after that game, and so did my football career. So I owe so much of not only my growth as a football player, but also as a man to Coach McKeel. Thank you. Coach Hatcher just took a new job, as we already talked about. Couldn't be here. Thank him for everything that he did for me and so many guys here tonight. Could fill up hours telling stories about him with all the guys here, but we'll save that for a little later at the Apple. Watching him and his coaching staff sleep in the stadium when they got hired, paint walls, ceiling tiles, still get up at 5 a.m. to be in the weight room with us, it showed us two things. No job was too small, and that they were just as committed to our success as we were. Coach Hatch and his staff made football at Murray State fun again, not only for us, but for you guys as the fans. I was fortunate enough to play with tons of great receivers. Too many to name here tonight, but there are two that are now in the Murray State Hall of Fame. Walter Powell, and obviously Marcus Harris. So my first start under Coach Hatch was the infamous Missouri State homecoming game. And it was during that game that I really learned how to be a great quarterback. And everybody tries to make this freaking position so complicated. It's simple. If you have a player that's better than everybody else, which he was, throw it to him. Throw it to him a lot. And if he's covered, throw it to him anyway. He'll catch it. And I promise he caught a lot that game and went on to catch a lot the rest of the season. So, Soup, thanks for making me look good. And you can't have a great offense if you can't run the ball. Mike Harris was the first team All-OVC running back in 2010 and 2011. Throw in Dwayne Brady and a lineman that never got the love they deserved, like Tomlin, Biven, Mahoney, O'Hendies, Hobson, Hogan, Rydecki, Littlefield, Kelly. We really had something special. Coach Hatcher used to tell us all the time, luck is when opportunity and preparation meet. And I love that quote because every successful person has had luck on their side. And I'm certainly no different. I was fortunate to catch a lot of breaks, be in the right offenses with the right people around me and the right coaches. However, I also know how hard we all worked to make sure we were prepared when those opportunities presented themselves. To my aunts and uncles who came from out of town to be here tonight, I really owe most of my success to you guys. I had to get some athleticism from somebody, and it wasn't my dad, so. And to my in-laws, Ron and Stacy, thanks for making the trip down and for all your support over the years as well. To my parents, Tab and Beth, this one we got some issues with I made it a tissue, Dave. The wins, the stats, the awards, those are all great, but I really appreciate it and I'm so thankful for how you taught me to treat people. Thanks for waking up at 6 a.m., driving me to the high school to lift weights before I had my license. Thank you for never missing a game and always being present. It means more to me than you'll ever know. You let me pave my own path. You didn't hover over me. You never forced me in any sort of direction. You let me make my own mistakes and learn from them. Growing up, never once did I hear you say I should be playing ahead of someone or ask or question some of my coaches. I will admit, though, my granny, Betty Brockman, she did plenty of that for you. But seriously, though, that's so uncommon. And Coach Wright, you know this, especially in today's transfer portal world, where everyone has to have immediate gratification, or they just pack their bags and go home, and you didn't let me do that. Most importantly, thank you for raising me to be a racer. Coach McKeel already talked about it. Didn't have a ton of options coming out of high school. We listed out pros and cons of each school. One of the biggest pros was my brother, Tyler. He was already on the team here. I wanted to play with him one more time. And instead of him distancing himself from me once he got to college, he let me into his world. I got to know some of his friends that are here tonight, actually. Tyler Sinclair, Eric Ornella. Thank you, Tyler, for being a great friend, a great role model, and a great brother. No matter what the pros and cons list said, no matter what advice people gave me, deep down I knew where I wanted to be. My heart kept coming back to one school. In the words of the Murray State legend, Jimmy Carter, to the finest place we know. I got a few more minutes. Dave's going to kill me, but I got a few more minutes. I promise I'll be quick. So many special moments I got to witness as a kid, and we should have cross-referenced notes, Coach, because I got the Tennessee State here. But Rob Hart kicking field goals barefoot in the snow at Eastern Kentucky. Aubrey Reese's shot over Bud Ely. Coach Tiki leading the Breds to an OVC title in 2002. Shane Anderson's kick versus Eastern Illinois. Cuffey, Burdine, Singleton, beating Tennessee Tech and Louisville in 2002. I could go on, and I even cherish those bad ones we just talked about a minute ago about Tennessee State and me crying. I knew I wanted to make my own memories here. And I hope one day there's a kid grew up watching me and wants to be a racer so he can recreate his own memories. And of all the memories I made, my favorite was my freshman year when I completed 2 passes for 27 yards to my brother at Tennessee Tech. I ended my career with 9,990 passing yards. I'll get over this one day, but I'm very confident that I've thrown those 2 passes to anybody, literally anyone else on the field that day, I have 10,000 yards. I'll be quick. So without Murray State, I'd have never met my smoking hot wife, Maddie. We've been together 14 years. She's my best friend and still my biggest fan. She knows I hate it when she says this, but she loves telling people I was Murray State's record-setting All-American quarterback. And it makes it even more awkward for me when the typical response back is, yeah, whatever, that guy was a left guard. And so I guess now she's going to have to add Hall of Fame to that title. We're expecting our first child, a baby boy, in April. So Nico and Coach Wright, so $1.5 million in NIL, okay? Guaranteed playing time with the freshmen. And I already got Jim Foster's approval. We got unlimited cover for 4 years. So just need you guys to come through on that other stuff. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. A few months ago, and I only got a few more things. A few months ago, a former teammate summed up living in Murray and being a racer better than I could, and I had to share it. Murray taught us the hard way. We didn't have the best facilities. We didn't have unlimited funds. Our nutrition bar was peanut butter sandwiches. It was Racer Continental for breakfast. That was honey buns, Pop-Tarts, and if you were lucky enough to be early for practice, you were getting in one of them mini muffins. We had 1 pair of workout clothes. You might have a hole in your cleats or wet clothes from the day before, but it didn't matter because whether it was 5 a.m. in the snow in fall camp, or in the off season, or 4 p.m. in 100-degree heat in fall camp, you were giving it your all for the guy next to you, just so you could see Racer 1 go around the track and we scored. Murray's the keg on a Wednesday night with your teammates, even though you had a 5 a.m. workout the next morning. It's about the lessons we learned having to work our tails off with no guarantee of a win on Saturday. Being a racer is about grit, toughness, pride, and representing this great community. It's what college football is supposed to be about. There aren't many places in the world left like Murray State. I'm going to leave you with this. I want everybody in the crowd to raise your hand as high as you can. Now raise it a little bit higher. See? Hey, you always have a little bit more to give than you think. Don't let anybody tell you that you have limits. There is no ceiling. You're in control of you. You can be great if you work hard enough to achieve your goals. Going from a walk-on to a diehard Murray State fan to a Hall of Famer, I'm a living testament to that. Never in my wildest dreams could I imagine standing up here tonight. Thank you to everyone that helped make this night possible. And he's here tonight for Cuffey, so I don't want to steal your thunder. But there's only one way to end this speech. In the words of fellow Hall of Famer, Coach Tevester Anderson, hey, go Racers.
So I've been at several Hall of Fame events, obviously. I've been here 25 years now. This night never disappoints for any number of reasons, that's for sure. Coach T, Casey forgot to mention one of his favorite players was our 7-footer from Germany, Andy Hornig. He used to love Andy. So he briefly mentioned the 2010 game against Missouri State, where he obviously figured something out to throw it to Soup over here and let him catch the ball and go with it. Our next inductee is Marcus Harris. Now, when he finished in 2000, what was the last year? It was 10? Yeah, it was 10. Yeah, okay. All-time leader in receptions, yards, touchdowns. He was it. NFL, 5 years, a pro. And he took it all the way to the highest level, and I've always been very proud of him for that. Now, his presenter tonight is Josh Jones. And I remember Josh, kind of when he joined our athletics department as a fifth-year senior, he was basically doing operations with us. Matt Kelly got him signed up, and I remember meeting Josh and working with him and always enjoyed him. He was a great player in his own right, but he's going to come up here and introduce Marcus Harris. Let's welcome Josh Jones to the podium. So Josh is going to take the long way around. So speaking of that 72-59 game, the only thing I could think of when it was over, and Tab got a picture of the scoreboard, 72-59, was one coach said, we just scored 59 points and lost. And the other coach was opposite. We just gave up 59 and won. It was amazing. And this guy was part of that and a great player. Josh, come on up, tell us about Marcus.
Let me set the timer here. I like to stay on time. All right. Well, it's been 14 years since I've been back to Murray. I graduated, and it's not an airport. There's not an airport close enough. So, and to the younger inductees, you probably don't even know what going down south means. Exactly. All right, Matt Kelly finally got a little older. Dave Winder's still doing great things. I actually watched Casey play in high school. I was pretty much a season ticket holder. And my college teammate is the Murray State athletic director. That's crazy. And now one of my best friends is getting the recognition he deserves. So I'm in a weird place here because everyone seems familiar but older but me. All right. Does anyone know what Marcus Harris' nickname is? Do anyone know who provided that nickname to him? You're looking at him. So this was 2005 in the West Hallway of Kirkwood High School. I was a junior going into my senior year, and I realized that my quarterback that was my age was not going to get us to the place we needed to be. So I jumped ship ASAP. He's not that guy, okay? And I saw Soup, and I yelled out, "Superstar," in front of everybody. And if anybody know Marcus, he hates recognition, so he hated the nickname. So I called him Superstar for a few days, and then a week, and then he came back, and he was like, "Please, let's come up with something else." So I made a deal with him, and I told him if he balls out for me my senior year, because he was going to be my quarterback, as I had already accepted, that I'll start calling him Soup. And we'll spell it S-O-U-P so no one would ever know that it's actually short for Superstar. But that is where his name came from. And I can tell you what, Soup got me to college, okay? My junior year, I wasn't even on the radar. By my senior year, I was first team All-State because everyone really had to worry about our quarterback. And everyone's looking like, what? Yes, Marcus Harris was my quarterback, not a wide receiver. He couldn't catch in high school. Am I lying? Okay. He was one of an all-state quarterback, and he was a dangerous dual threat, of course. So schools, I think, would just let him pass because they did not want to see him run. So superstar is where we come up with, and soup is where we ended with. And a last story I would tell is how he got to Murray State. After my freshman year, Mizzou had beat the socks off us, and we're working out with Cecil. Yeah, that name. Some people remember that name. We're working out, and Coach Jernigan. If anyone remember Coach Jernigan, he comes up to me and he said, "Hey man, what's going on with your boy Soup?" At that time, Soup was my St. Louis best friend. No one at Murray State knew who he was, so he had to be talking about Campbell's. So Soup, who are you talking about? And he said, "Well, what's going on with Marcus?" So I started piecing things together. He has to be talking about my best friend. I said, "You talking about Marcus from my high school?" He said, "Yeah, man, we've been trying to get in contact with him." I said, "Did you call him?" He said, "We don't know his number. We tried to call the coach, and we just can't get in contact with him. Can you get in contact with Soup? Because we're recruiting him." I said, "You're recruiting Soup?" I said, "We got like 15 quarterbacks in this room, and you want him?" I said, "Yeah, man, we think he's special." So after the workout, after that, I shower and I call Soup and I said, "Hey, Soup, man, Murray State, we're recruiting you." He goes, "What? No?" I said, "Well, who else is recruiting you?" He said, "Nobody's recruiting me. I'm just playing." True story. Marcus didn't even know that he was getting recruited by any college at this point. I told him the 3 colleges that was recruiting him. He had no idea. So once he realized that it wasn't a prank, I got him connected to the coaching staff at Murray State, and we offered him a visit. Has anybody ever drove from St. Louis here? You take 64 east to 57 south to 24 east. My quarterback took 64 east to 57 north. By the time he got here to the recruiting dinner, the dinner was over. And at this time, we didn't have the iPhones. You had to print out MapQuest. Did you print out MapQuest? Wrong. But he got here and he did the visit and he got the scholarship, and the rest is history. I got to play with him. It was an amazing time to see my best friend over there. I don't know if anybody remember Dominique Cromartie Rogers. He went to the NFL. Soup was a freshman, and Soup was catching on him. And that's when I realized that he's something special. And he's not just a quarterback; he's actually a wide receiver now. So I want to say I'm just so glad that he's actually get the appreciation he deserved. This is pretty much the first time I've ever seen anyone recognize Soup in the manner that he should be deserved, and he's been great all his life. So not only is this an opportunity to recognize his athletic ability, it's an opportunity to actually recognize one of my best friends, Marcus Soup Harris.
What's up, guys? I hate that I have to go behind Casey and Josh, but I'm a freestyle. I didn't write a speech. First of all, I want to thank God for giving us this opportunity to even come together tonight. And I'm going to get down to the list of thank yous, man. I want to thank, first of all, Murray State for believing in me and giving me an opportunity to keep proving myself right. I'm not used to talking about myself or have an event be about me, but it's kind of cool. But to Nico, man, I appreciate you more than you know, bro, because I switched from quarterback because, first of all, I wasn't handling what I was supposed to do as a football player. I can say that, But every weekend, man, whenever we need to get some work, he was an arm for me. And funny story, we was out there working. I'll never forget it. My gloves was a little wet, a little sweaty, and Nico, I don't know if y'all know how strong his arm is, but he got a freaking cannon. And I did a 5-yard in route, slipped through my hands, And that's all I remember till this day. But Nico, man, I appreciate you, bro. And Racer Dave, appreciate you. Neil, Mr. Bud, man, you was a real light for me while I was here. Because while I was here at Murray, my mind was on my parents. You know, we didn't grow up with much, but we had each other. And going to school, although I was a starting quarterback, I still took city transportation. We didn't have a school bus. So finding out that I had a scholarship to Murray State, man, it was almost like a breath of fresh air because I knew my parents wasn't going to have to worry about putting me through college. And I couldn't ask for anything more because this night is more so about, you know, my appreciation for them because I've seen them sacrifice, you know, my mom actually riding the bus with me while I was too young to do it myself before she let me go off by myself and with my little sister. But Mom, I love you, and Daddy, I appreciate you, man. And Mr. Matt, I appreciate you. I actually graduated this December, y'all. It took 15 years, but Matt played a big role in that, man. And since my first day on campus, Matt, you've always had my back, and I'm forever grateful for you. To the Hall of Fame committee, I appreciate y'all. Josh, man, I feel like the greatest human act that we can do for one another is to inspire. And I feel like Josh was not only a good football player, but I saw how his work ethic was in the business world. You know, in the classroom, one of the smartest guys I've ever known. You know, and he's always had my back. Every time I needed to go back to St. Louis, he made sure I got back. And I'm forever grateful for that. Coach Griff, I know that. I appreciate Coach Griff. The only coach that came visit me at my house, man. Honestly, I didn't know who was recruiting me. Like Josh said, I was just playing football, man. It was my escape from reality, you know. And I got to do it in front of the most important people in my life. And I wouldn't change it. You know, I wouldn't change any decision I've made. We all experience just an accumulation of results from experiences, choices that we make. You know, and I feel like choosing Murray State was probably the best thing that I could have ever done. You know, and to my guys in the trenches, I'm gonna show y'all some love too. Casey already did it, but I appreciate y'all. And yeah, to the Wild Horse, man, that was some good games, bro. Some games for the record books, literally. And 24. Fuck, I don't know how you did that, bro. He did it. And I just want to thank my wife, too, for giving me the space and opportunity that I needed to finish college. You know, and she gave me the time I needed to finish classwork. And even though we was in Vegas one night, I would call Matt. I was having a panic attack because I forgot to turn in an assignment. She's like, oh, you got it. You good. And although we was on vacation, she still was like, nah. 10th year anniversary. I can always count on her to correct me. But man, if I forgot any names, I apologize. One too many concussions, but thank all y'all for coming out tonight. You know, taking time out y'all's schedule to celebrate us, the inductees. Congratulations to everybody, also, by the way, man. That's major. And yeah, I ain't got much to say, but thank you.
I keep going back to that 72-59 game. By the way, that's still the only game at our level of football that had a 500-yard passer, 200-yard rusher, and a 200-yard receiver. Just incredible stuff. Congratulations to Marcus. Now we're going to move on to Rachel Giustino. I remember when she was a freshman, and she had the same thing that Scotty Ingram had. Scotty set all those records. By the time she was done, she had topped all of Scotty's record. But the best thing I always say is when she hit the ball, if you were watching a volleyball, you'd see the other kids spiking it. When she hit it, it sounded like a cannon was going off. Am I right? So we're really happy to have Rachel Giustino go into the Murray State Hall of Fame. Played for Coach Dave Schwepker, who was going to be here tonight but couldn't be from 2016 to 19, and her best friend and teammate. And I remember we used to get just great pictures of you celebrating after points. Just, yeah. Nobody celebrates like the volleyball players do, right? It's awesome. Rachel Kaufman, now Rachel Ruby, she's going to come up and introduce Rachel Giustino.
I will keep this in the time limit because I'm here with my 6-month-old and it's bedtime, so don't you worry. Doesn't mean I love Rachel any less. I first encountered Rachel on the volleyball court in 5th grade when my elementary school played her elementary school. My dad was my coach, and I believe Jenny was, her mom was her coach, Rachel's coach. And during a huddle and a timeout, my dad pulled us in and he said, if the ball goes to the redhead, be ready for it to be shot immediately back over, because even at 10 years old, Rachel knew what it took to win a volleyball game. And at that point, it meant do not trust any other 10-year-old to touch the ball. The first time Rachel and I were on the same team was in our club season in 8th grade. We were both placed on 14 red, and this is where our friendship began. We bonded over the fact that we would be attending the same Catholic high school the following fall. From that club season throughout high school, we played every single season of volleyball together. And the journey, I'm so grateful, got to continue into college. I was not committed to a college by my senior spring. Rachel had already been committed to Murray. And thankfully, her dad sent an email to Coach Schwepker letting him know that I was still looking, and he happened to have a position in my spot open up. And so we got to continue our seasons all through college. So we shared every loss and every victory, which included 1 state championship victory in high school and 2 OVC championship victories in college. Some of those seasons I was her setter while she hit out of the middle. Other seasons I was setting her to on the outside, but most of those seasons I was her defender, covering her back on every attack and trying not to get kicked in the face by her insane vertical. So I feel like these are great qualifications for making me the most credible person in this room to understand how deserving she is of being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I got to witness front row every single one of her accomplishments, which includes setting the Murray State all-time kill leader, all-time point leader, member of the 1,000 Kills, 1,000 Digs Club, and so many more. And while these feats are beyond impressive, and obviously the reason we are gathered here inducting her today, I'd like to mention a very important quality that I think makes Rachel Hall of Fame worthy. One that you won't find by Googling her player bio. Rachel has one of the most compassionate hearts of any human I know. And we often hear of athletes being described as passionate, but I specifically mean compassionate, based off of what that the root meaning of the word as to suffer with. My junior year of college, I tore my ACL, and Rachel was the one to drive me around when I was on crutches. She was in the hospital room when I came out of surgery and took me back home to our house. We were roommates and took care of me in so many ways. She also was the person that anyone on our team could go to if we were ever struggling with anything mentally or emotionally. And she would listen with such steady patience, no matter what she might have been suffering through herself, physically or also mentally or emotionally. She also is incredibly compassionate to anybody who might be ostracized or seen as the little guy on a team, or even the people who are affiliated with the team, like the athletic trainers or managers. She made sure that every single one of those people made sure that they were a part of the family and grew real, genuine, lasting friendships with them. So Rachel loved and Rachel showed compassion in the most outstanding and selfless ways during her volleyball career. And in my opinion, this is what separates her from the good athletes and makes her one of the greats. This character through which she made her accomplishments. It is my great honor to welcome MSU Hall of Fame inductee, number 10, Rachel Giustino Knopa.
Hi. Oh my gosh, okay, I can't even begin to express how grateful and humbled I am to be here. Thank you so much to the athletic department and to the Hall of Fame induction committee for including me in such an impressive group of people. I guess you guys got my dad's emails. I am eternally grateful to Murray State University for so much. First, for the opportunity to play some really wonderful volleyball for 4 years. I'm also, incredibly honored for today. I'm thrilled to share it with these people who came before me and the amazing people in this room being celebrated tonight. I want to thank my loving husband, who was with me through my whole recruiting process and decision to go to Murray, who conveniently decided to go to Carbondale just 2 hours away, and who spent countless hours driving to and from my games, and who makes my life so happy. I love you. Thank you so much to Alex for that beautiful introduction, continuing to be my friend through middle and high school, despite my efforts to make you stop. For being my support and confidant and roommate through our time at Murray, and for being an incredible example of love and friendship to me. It's not lost on me that it's rare to spend 13 seasons playing with someone. The universe knew I needed Alex here with me at Murray to keep me sane, to overanalyze every situation and teammate, and to challenge me. Without her here, I know my time at Murray would not have been the same. I'm so grateful to my parents for their sacrifices that made this possible for me. My mom played volleyball and was my first volleyball coach, and she really instilled in me a love for the game. She also made me try basketball, but I really didn't like the running. My dad was a professional baseball player and has always had the mentality of a champion, which I think he has passed on to me. I will always cherish our early morning coffee dates where we were both being prepared for game day. I was getting ready to play, and my dad was getting ready to sit as far away from the other parents as possible so that he could really focus. Their love and endless support of me as an athlete made me feel like I could accomplish anything. It's such a privilege to have parents who always did what they could to help me and make my dreams possible. Without their efforts, I would not be standing here today. Thank you both for being my biggest fans, for cheering the loudest for me, for laughing at all my jokes, and for helping me up when things didn't go my way. With that, I also want to thank my sisters who aren't here today, and my stepdad, Murray, who probably watched way more volleyball than they ever wanted. I know Lindsay and Meredith are so sick of hearing about my volleyball career, so hopefully after tonight things will calm down. Thank you to every person who was part of our team, my teammates and coaches, during the 4 years that we played here. Every single one of you made my time here so special. And of course, I am so grateful to Coach Schwepker, who couldn't be here tonight. He is probably one of the people in my life who has impacted me the most. And I think one thing that really sums up Coach and my relationship is an email that he sent me while I was being recruited in 2015. And I'm going to read that to you guys today. It starts, "Okay, Rachel, here is my last-ditch effort to get you to come to Murray State. So here goes. These are the top 10 reasons Rachel Giustino should attend Murray State. Our pre-dental program is top-notch with caring professors," which is true. "We usually have pretty mild winters, and in parentheses, this winter doesn't count. You will have a brand new locker room, and we have some pretty nice girls. Our campus is a reasonable size to get around by walking. You will get to see me every day of your life. Your class size will be around 30 or less. You will fit in with our high-flying, shorter girls. You have the ability to determine your playing destiny, and the number one reason for attending Murray State University is we want you here. Not to mention, you will get to eat my homemade pancakes, be a part of my family, win championships, play on a great floor. Okay, I think you get the point. Talk to you later. I think that really shows who Coach is and what Murray State was to me, which is a place where I belonged. Volleyball gave me so much more than records or championships. It gave me people. It gave me second families. It gave me a home away from home. Life lessons, tough life lessons. This honor represents so much more than what I personally accomplished in my time here. It reflects every coach who pushed me and every supporter who believed in me, even when I forgot how. Thank you, Murray State.
Yeah, this night is not disappointing. This is incredible what we're hearing from everybody. Gerald, I was the same way. When my kids were playing, I could not sit with anybody. I just had to get away. Absolutely. Let's move on to Tonia Pratt, Murray State Track and Field. I remember when she was playing and would go to track meets, go to the finals, the OVC championship. And I remember, because I kind of made myself official photographer from about 2012 to 18, actually 19, when Ja Morant left. I shot Ja Morant for 2 years, 65 games. But I also shot Tonia Pratt back in the day. And I just remember every time she competed, I don't know that there was a more dominant athlete in her area than what she was doing. To just kind of hit on it just real quick, she remains Murray State's record holder in shot put, discus, and hammer throw. And she's still Murray State's greatest thrower a decade after she finished playing. And I think it was 11 Ohio Valley Conference championships. You were awesome. And I'm so glad you're here tonight. Did Naomi go to sleep? I don't know. Naomi's 3 months, right? Congratulations. And I love Adam Kiesler. He's one of our greatest coaches here at Murray State. And I'm so glad that you chose him, or asked him, to come up here and say a few words. Let's bring up Coach Adam Kiesler.
So, silence is what I experienced from Tonia for about 3 months during our recruiting process. So I'm very surprised that we're here now, and that's where we started. But if you know Tonia, I missed the silence because in our communication for about 4 years, it was the exact opposite, right? It was a lot of yelling, which that's how we decided to communicate, which clearly worked. Look where we are now. But Tonia was really to herself. And one thing that Tonia really liked to do was sleep. Tonia, she slept a lot in her room. She slept a lot on the bus. And I found it very odd because the third most place that she slept on campus was actually under the squat rack, right? So after certain sets, she would lay there, and about 10 minutes would go by, and she'd get up and she'd do it again. But one night when we didn't have any hotel rooms in Nashville when we were competing at Vanderbilt, there was one place that she didn't get a lot of sleep in, and that was the Safari in Middle Tennessee. I don't know if you remember that, but we had no rooms. Tonia decided to sleep on the dresser because the beds were so gross. And she has never let me live that down to this day, of course. But as Dave said, she was very accomplished. Until this year, she was actually the OVC record holder in the discus. Unfortunately, in 2025, some punk decided to beat her record. But me and Tonia spent a lot of time together. We spent a lot of time together when there was nobody here in Murray, right? School was out. The first rounds were always about 2 or 3 weeks after the OVC championships. And me and her, at that time, unfortunately, she was one of the only people still left on the team competing for the first rounds. And in that time, I realized, man, Tonia she's very smart. She is very, very smart. But man, there are some things that she just doesn't know that I think most people should know. And when she asked me to do this, I actually looked back at my computer, and I actually used to make her quizzes, literal quizzes, and I have them to this day, 13 years later. So as a group, we're also going to take these quizzes tonight. And you're going to realize some of the things that I thought Tonia was missing back when she was a senior in college. So one of the questions was, when was Murray State University established? Very good. If I had $5 and it was buy one, get one half off, and the price of the item was $2, how many could I get? 3. And then there are some that were quite obvious that if you were to go to Tennessee, what direction would you drive? Unfortunately, we probably got west as the answer. That was the thing, right? But in our time together, there was one question that was not actually asked from me to her. It was actually asked to me from one of her teammates, Sharday Bettis. Sharday Bettis was a very accomplished hurdler and sprinter in her own right, and she was one of Tonia's teammates. And what that question was, as we all know, driving in buses and driving in vans, there's a lot of crazy questions that come from student athletes to coaches. But this one really came from deep within Sharday. And it was, hey, Coach K, if you could put together one athlete using different characteristics from each one of the kids that you have coached, what are those characteristics and who would that athlete be? So in that time, it was coachable, somebody who's capable of being easily taught, trained to do something better. Determined, having reached a decision and nothing could change or get in the way of that. Their heart, their willingness to do anything to succeed. Character, moral and mental qualities distinctive to an individual. And passion, an intense desire or enthusiasm for something. I told Sharday Bettis that day and every day until she graduated that I don't have an answer. And I didn't have an answer. But now that I've gotten old, I realize there isn't 5 answers. There's only one answer. That is Tonia Pratt.
Hi guys. So, as Coach K says, I've been told multiple times I'm very book smart, but there's some things that I lack in. I will say speech writing. You guys all had a lot of very elegant speeches. That's not going to be what you're going to get from me right now. So let's just put that out there on the table. But I would not have picked anybody else to talk about me than Coach K, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't Coach K. Coach K recruited me, even though he was not the throws coach. And like he said, we bonded over. Luckily, we went through a couple throws coach, and I was fed up, and he finally said, I'm just going to coach you, Tonia, and we're going to go from there, because it was a journey, let's just say that. And I can be very difficult. Like he said, I scream. Not that I'm mad, but I'm probably most difficult on myself, and he recognized that, and he worked very well with me with that. So, like I said, that's why I would not have picked anybody else but Coach K to talk about it, because I would not be here if it wasn't for him. I would not have gone as far in my career, and nobody else could put up with me except Coach K. Let's just say that. So thank you so much. And I just want to say the reason I didn't sleep, but as a thrower and being short, I'm 5'4", to throw far, you have to lift heavy. So if somebody throws 450 pounds on your back and says squat it, you're going to want to take a rest too. Just throwing that out there. And if you don't, then bravo to you. I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it in my way, in my time. But like I said, Coach K pushed me to be the best, whether it was to run a mile on Friday. He's like, you can get it under, I want to say it was 10 minutes, and I beat that time. And he was like, you're a thrower and you beat 10-minute mile. Like I said, I don't run. So that's a whole other story, and we still was doing miles every Friday. Or to put 450 pounds on your back and squat it, I would still do it. Because if somebody says to get it done or you can't do it, I'm going to do it. That's just the person who I am. Like I said, I don't like to be told I can't do something, so I strive to show anybody up. Let's just say that. That's the competitiveness in me. So I remember my first track meet, transitioning from high school to college. It was our indoor meet. I believe we went to Southern Illinois, and I threw for the first time, and I didn't make finals. So if you don't know how track and field goes for a throw, you get 3 throws, and then if you're the top 8, or depending on what it is, then you get to go. So the first time in my life I get collegiate and I don't go to finals, I've never been so mad in my life. After that day, I think that pushed me even harder to work because we're not going to be in finals. Come to find out today, I was actually throwing against Olympians, so I can't be too hard on myself, right? Like, these people have gone to multiple Olympics, so I guess I'm a little hard on myself, so give myself a little grace. But I would like to thank my mom. I wouldn't be here without her. I was literally just telling my sister in my car, throughout my entire childhood, my mom would be the one taking me to all my different sports, whether it's soccer, AAU basketball, or I did cheerleading, which she was not a fan of watching the same cheer over and over again. But I remember as a kid, she would be like, Tonia, you need to go print out the MapQuest, or we're not going to the basketball, right? Because we didn't have our phones or Garmin's, literally MapQuest. So it was funny that you said that story, because I literally said that in the car on my way here. So from a young age, very competitive, and my mom made sure that anything that I wanted to do, I did it competitively, and she made sure that I was there to do it. I also want to thank my sister. I wouldn't be a thrower without her, because she's 5 years older than me. I always wanted to do whatever she wanted to do. So my sister went to track camp, and I was like, Mom, I want to go to track camp. And so day one, they're like, run 2 laps. I was like, around what? So I think I got to a 200, and I was like, these people over here aren't running, so I'm going to do what they do and figure out how to keep doing that, and that's literally, so thank you, Tasha, for showing me what I don't want to do. Literally how I became a thrower and not a runner like my sister. But even after that, like I said, I always wanted to be like my sister, be as good as her in my own way, because I don't do things like that. And she's always supported me. Both my mom and my sister came to track meets in college. Even we're from Michigan, so coming all the way down here to come to stuff, going to our away meets, I mean, that's big, a lot of traveling for that, so I really appreciate all of that as well. I'd like to thank Murray State for the opportunity. Without them, I wouldn't have had my education. I've learned a lot, not just where Tennessee is, but actually like even the opportunity for my education and my job and where I am today. And thank you for the Hall of Fame Council to nominate me, because, like I said, I didn't think I was worthy of it. So it's really eye-opening, and I thank you guys for thinking of me. And even though I know you say all these stats, but in my head, I could always do better. And Coach K was always like, Tonia, you're doing good. And I just, in my head, it never sets in, right? So thank you for that. And then, like I said, my goal is to always lead by example for my daughter, and to always go over any obstacles and keep going. I feel like, Coach K, how many times I hurt myself and I still went. I mean, one time I just fell off the platform and shattered my ankle. Another time I had a bulging disc and decided to still walk and throw. So just never stopping and keep going after something that you love. And that's how you get here, determination. So thank you all.
Okay, our next inductee is Ivan Rowe, who competed for Murray State Rifle for Coach Alan Lollar from 2014 to 18. And we were so proud in the summer of 2024. And I'm looking forward to Ivan kind of telling us how he had the perseverance to keep trying. He competed in the Paris Olympic Games for Team USA. That was so cool to see those pictures of Ivan in the red, white, and blue. He's a sergeant in the United States Army now, which is fitting because tomorrow during the game is our Salute to Service Day. And how many? We got about 100. How many we got, Josh? 100 soldiers from Fort Campbell coming tomorrow. We've also got Joe Everson, who's the guy that is a great painter while he sings the national anthem. That's all going to happen today. So it's really cool that Ivan is in this Hall of Fame class. Outstanding All-America, 7-time All-America in the sport of rifle. And he was also a couple of times academic All-America. And then I don't know if you've ever heard of it, the NCAA Elite 99 Award goes to the student athlete at the championship who has the best academic grade point average, and Ivan also won that too. Now the guy who got him here is Coach Alan Lollar. Come on up, Coach. I want you to tell us how you got Ivan Rowe to come from Montana all the way to Murray State.
This is one of those nights when you really want to go first because all of the people before have been so good. This is going to be hard to follow up. And before I get started on Ivan, I had one thought tonight, and that just sort of ran through my head. There's one person in this room that I have known longer than I have known my wife, Coach T. Long time ago to basketball camps. But first, I got a couple of people that I want to thank. I want to thank Ivan's parents. Dave, I'm not really sure how I got him here. He was just on the list, and we talked, and it worked out, but his parents trusted me with him for 4 years, a long way from home, and I really appreciate that. He changed me a lot. There was one person in the room that's sort of worried right now, and that's one of his teammates, Alethea, because she sees me up here without notes, and she knows that can go a long time. Well, don't worry, Alethea. Don't get too excited. It's just the outline. It's my honor tonight to talk about Ivan. He meant a whole lot to our program, and he meant a lot to me. When you work with an athlete that's as committed and driven and focused as Ivan is, he makes you raise your game every day. You have to show up ready to work. And he made me better because of that. And so I'll always thank him for that. So I want to talk about something besides the numbers, the matches, the medals, and all that stuff. He's had a great Murray State career, without a doubt. He's got all those numbers, all those qualifications. He has traveled the world representing Team USA and the United States Army. World Cups, World Championships, the Olympics, he's done it all. But I want to talk for a minute about the kind of person that it takes to do that, because it wasn't always easy. We talk about how we do anything is how we do everything. I think Ivan learned that young in life. I think he learned it from his parents. They taught him to do his best in everything that he does. And that's all he does. Everything he does is his best, and when you give your best, you get rid of a lot of the what ifs. And you're able to be happy with whatever happens. And as you'll see with a couple of these examples, it's not always been easy for him. When Ivan came to Murray State, his recruiting class, I just basically refer to as the three boys. Ben, Bobby, and Ivan. They all came in together, and together they formed a foundation of a team that was the first team to break 4,700 as a team score in rifle. Our numbers are sort of crazy, so you'll just have to believe me, that's good. We were the 5th team in NCAA history to break 4,700. And he was part of that team. But before he got to Murray State, when he got here, he had exactly 1 small bore match under his belt. We knew he was a great air gun shooter. Wasn't no doubt about that. He was being recruited by more than one person. Harry Mullins at Kentucky is still upset that we got you. But he had 1 match. So, you know, I'm doing all this coach thinking and stuff, and so I think I'm going to take it easy on him. His first match, we're not going to squat him. He's not going to be one of the counters in small bore. You know, we'll count him in air rifle. Yeah, he's got a lot of experience in that. But we'll ease him in to small bore. Well, at a time when a 580 score was a pretty big deal in college shooting, he shoots a 582. His first match. Walks off the range, doesn't say a word to me, just walks up to me with this really stupid grin on his face. Now, if you know Ivan, you know the grin, and you'll probably see it again in a few minutes. Doesn't say a word, and I just said, you know, I got it. You're going to be a counter for the rest of your career. I understand. And so the easiest thing I ever done was just write him in like Cal Ripken for 4 years. But it wasn't always that easy. He missed the Olympics in 2016 and 2020. One of the hardest things to do is to deal with things that are sort of out of your control. For us, competition is one of those things that's out of your control. We prepare, and nobody in the world prepares better than Ivan does. But when it comes down to the competition, the other team gets a vote. And sometimes you can do your absolute best, and it just won't work. 2016, before the Rio Games, Ivan missed the air rifle team by 0.5 point, having to deal with a target malfunction on the last day of the trials. 0.5 point in air rifle for us is measured in millimeters. He was disappointed, but he wasn't discouraged. He never quit. He never backed down. After he graduated from Murray State, he got the chance, basically, for shooters, it's a chance of a lifetime to go to the unit. He got invited to go to the U.S. Army Marksmanship Unit. It's as close as you can be to a professional athlete in shooting in this country. They get paid to train and compete, and he's been all over the world with them. But before he could do that, he had to get knee surgery. He had been putting off this knee surgery for 4 years because he didn't want to miss a minute of his Murray State career with it. He also didn't want to let his teammates down. He was there every time that he was needed. He's the kind of guy that would be there if you needed something off the range. He was there to help. If you needed help on the range, you had a question, or sometimes if you needed just a little firm encouragement, he could also be there for that too. But he handled all of that like a champion. Got his surgery, did his rehab, passed the physical, passed the fitness test, and he made it to the unit. Then in 2020, the run-up to the Tokyo Games, he didn't get to shoot in the first leg of the tryouts because he was still in basic training. So he's got the second leg to look forward to, right? Well, we remember 2020, right? COVID restrictions kept him out of the second leg. So he misses his chance at that, and he was good enough to make that team. He misses his chance out of his control. A lot of people get wound up about that, not Ivan. He just keeps working and keeps working. And talking about that grin, most people think you can just see a grin. I could hear a grin. Because in 24, when he called to tell me that he had made the Olympic team in both guns, I could hear that grin. For Ivan, a bend in the road was never the end of the road. He just kept working. And finally, in 24, that part of the journey ended up in Paris. Couldn't be more proud of him. We talk about there is only one you. You can't be a champion on the range, unless you are a champion off the range. Ivan is a champion on the range. He's a champion off the range in life. He lives it every day. He made me better because he made me raise the level that I coached at. And we still have the greatest conversations, and every now and then, we actually agree. It's my honor and privilege now to introduce Ivan Rowe.
So kind of like what Marcus said, I texted Dave as soon as I figured out we were doing this and asked if we were expected to give a speech. He said like 4 to 5 minutes, so I didn't write anything because speaking's not really my thing. I put off COM 161 until my senior year because I really didn't want to do it. So here we are anyways. So I'm just kind of going to wing this off the cuff and speak from the heart kind of like Marcus did. I think that's the best way to go about it. First off, I want to thank my parents, because without them traveling all over Montana to state matches, all over the country to the national matches, and then all over the world, following me to watch me at the games, they've been with me every step of the leg. And without them, I honestly wouldn't have ever made it here. Dad, I know you wanted me to be a baseball player, but I didn't like getting hit with the ball. So that's kind of why I stopped. Mom, I know you would have been happy with whatever I did. Baton twirling wasn't really my thing. So I kind of don't want to do that. But coming here to Murray, it was, as Coach said, kind of something that was unexpected. I never heard of Murray State up until December of my senior year of high school, when I was looking for colleges to continue my shooting career. And I heard that there was a college that was looking for a shooter, an air rifle shooter that needed an opportunity. And, well, like you said, I didn't have a lot of experience and credentials under my belt. And so he took a chance on somebody who didn't really have a lot going for him. But you took a chance and it happened to work out, so thank you. Because Murray State ended up being the absolute best place for me to have come to college and to compete. Matt, you don't get nearly enough credit. You help every single one of us get through college, whether it's on time or not. We all get done, and it works out because you're behind the scenes pulling those strings, and thank you so much. You're a friend and a mentor, and I appreciate you. To my teammates, only one of them was able to be here tonight, Alethea, but the other two, Ben and Micah, you three were kind of my rock when I was having hard times on the team, and you kept me going, made it a lot easier when times were hard sometimes. But seeing your smile and listening to you guys joke around before matches was one of the things that made it all easier. And made me want to show up to practice at 5 a.m. because you all know that's not fun. No one wants to wake up at 5 a.m., go train, and then go to school because you're just tired. To my friend Chance, I've known you for a long time, and you have been somebody who can reliably always bounce ideas off of, and without you, I know I wouldn't have been able to make the improvements I've needed to go as far as I have in my college career. To my wife, Emily, Coach K, I don't know how you always knew, but you somehow are able to track relationships on athletic teams like none other. It's kind of spooky, but it works. And Emily, thank you so much for following me once again all over the world. I love you. And back to Coach. There are so many things I could say about him that, one, I probably shouldn't repeat in public. And two, aren't worthy of being said, because I can't put into words the kind of person he made me become. I came here, a small town Montana boy. My 6th grade class had 6 people in it. So this is a huge town for me when I got here. And getting here, when my parents left and it was just me, it was a pretty eye-opening experience, because I was all alone across the country. I had no one to rely on other than my teammates and my coach. And over the months and the years, he taught me how not just to become a great shooter, because I think that speaks for itself. You did that. But to become a good human being, and the lessons you taught me about how to treat other people, even people you might not like, go into the room and slam the door, then you let those feelings out. It's taught me to be a better man, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And Murray, this has always been my home. The reason I came here was because it felt like a family, it felt comfortable, and coming up over that hill, looking down into the valley, and you see the stadium, Regents in white, and you just get that feeling, and you just feel like you're at peace. I still get that every single time I come here, and I can't come here enough. I wish I got to come back more. But it's always been home for me, so thank you, Murray, because you took a chance on somebody who fell in love with the town and with the school. So from everything that you've given to me, I hope I've been able to give enough back to the university to kind of call it even. So I guess with that, once a racer, always a racer.
And our final inductee tonight is Cuthbert Victor of Murray State Basketball. Was with Cuthbert yesterday. He and his family walked into the main arena yesterday. He had not been here for 21 years. Last time he was here was 21 years ago. He was an All-America. He was recruited by Coach Tevester Anderson. His final year, he played for Mick Cronin and won a championship. And I asked him yesterday, I had seen you in a long time, Cuffy. Great nickname, by the way, Cuffy. So what are you doing now? He goes, I'm a firefighter. And I thought, of course you are, man. That just thrilled me yesterday. And to meet your family and to meet your children and all your moms here tonight, it's just awesome. And it's also awesome to have another Hall of Famer with us tonight, Coach Tevester Anderson. Come on up, Coach. Coach T, you've probably got the longest to walk of anybody tonight. You have to come all the way around this other side where the steps are. But while he's walking, Coach T and I used to do a great Coaches TV show at WPSD. And we traveled a lot of miles together. And I was so happy when he became a Hall of Famer a few years ago. Here you go, Coach. I got you, man. Oh, I got you. Thank you. How about I introduce you? Let's hear it for Coach Tevester Anderson. Thanks for being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's so good to be back at Murray State. A special place in my heart. I guess before I get started, I want to recognize the person who's responsible for Cuffy coming here. His mother, Cynthia Victor. She was very, very supportive of him coming from the U.S. Virgin Islands to Murray State University. She's his mother, maternal mother, but his mother away from home is my wife, Joyce Anderson there. She was very instrumental. She loved Cuffy, thought Cuffy was a special, special person. Matter of fact, when we had our wing ceremony here a few weeks ago, our players, it's kind of like a reunion. They was more happy to see her than they were to see me. So my wife was very, very supportive in the success we had here at Murray State University, especially placing both our hearts. Cuthbert Victor not only is a Hall of Fame basketball player, but he's an Hall of Fame person. If you met him and spent time with him, he's one of the most quality persons that you've ever met. He's always had that smile. He's a dominant player, but he had that smile all the time. And on the court, you know, he's a cutter on the court, though. The guys used to say, they call him Cuthbert, they say he's quiet, but he'll cut your heart out, though, on the basketball court. He's an outstanding, dominant player. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for selecting Cuthbert Victor for the Hall of Fame. He's very, very deserving of that, to be in the Hall of Fame. He's such a quality person. He's loved by his teammates. He's loved by his teachers, and he's loved by the fans. His teammates always thought he was a leader, and he is a leader, on and off the court. Never got in trouble, always doing the right thing in the right places, and he's the kind of player that you like to recruit. I met Cuthbert when he was a 16-year-old person. I was coaching the national team for the U.S. Virgin Islands, and he was a young player who joined our older guys. We went to Havana, Cuba, to play, I think in '92, I believe it was, and he was a member of the team. But he got there, he was a dominant member of the team. We had a lot of experienced players, and I looked at this guy and said, boy, I sure would like to have him at Murray State one day. And as he grew relationships with him, his family and all, and his players, we was able to bring him to Murray State University, where he became very, very successful. But recruiting him wasn't very easy. It was a process. He wasn't easy. But he said, when he finally told me, Coach, I think I'll come with you. When he said that, that was a happy day. And I told Linda Suter about that. Linda said, what kind of, can he jump? How high can he jump? I said, guess as high as he want to. Yeah. And he's a really, very dominant player here at Murray State. But he did well at Murray State, and I'm going to be brief. As not being just a dominant player, he was one of the most dominant players in history. He graduated here as an all-time shot blocker, as a 6'5" player. He's an all-time shot blocker at Murray State University. He also was, he's a 6 in rebounds. He's 14 in points and field goal percentage. In 2004, he was OVC Player of the Year. Professionally, he played for 5 different countries: Spain, Russia, France, Korea, and Puerto Rico. And he also made enough money to come back and buy half of the Virgin Islands, I think. He got him a nice home. He has property. He's done extremely well. You'd be very proud of him. So to the fans and to the committee, thank you for putting Cuthbert Victor in the Murray State Athletic Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.
Good night, everybody. I'll keep this short because I know everybody's tired. So I'm very honored and to stand here before you as part of Murray State University Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2025. I want to congratulate all the inductees. First and foremost, I want to thank God for blessing me with this ability to play this game and for guiding me on this incredible journey. I won't be here without my mom. I want to thank her because she sacrificed she made for me, working hard and believing in me, and giving me everything I need so that I could pursue my career and pursue my dream. Without her, I wouldn't be here. I want to thank my family, my friends, for always being there, celebrating the highs and encouraging me through the lows, and supporting me every step of the way. They need to push me, and especially my brothers. Oh my gosh. But I want to thank all my coaches, especially Coach Tevester and McKeel. Tevester for giving me the chance for being here at Murray State, and for both of the coaches for pushing me into the player and man I am today. They pushed me, they never give up with me. Never give up. I want to thank you for pushing me till the end. I want to thank all my teammates for every practice to every game. You made this journey possible and unforgettable. I also want to thank my racer families who serve as my family away from home. Y'all helped me adjust, and y'all welcomed me and took care of me while I was here far away from the Virgin Islands. Because, you know, the way it's cold. So during my college career, and I was blessed to make it to twice to the NCAA tournament appearance, be named Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Year, and win 2 Ohio Valley Conference Championship. I am proud and honored among all the program's great and future greats to come. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank all my Racers fans for supporting me. At home, on the road, in good times and tough ones. Your passion left us, and your loyalty means more than you know. From St. Croix, Virgin Islands to here, this Hall of Fame honor is humbling. So I want to thank you, thank Murray State, thank everybody, and I'm forever going to be a racer. Thank you.